Okay, so we got both of them finished in terms of finished painting. And now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back over with the water like I showed you a second ago. I'm gonna do my best to just do it really gently because some of the lines are still raised and I don't want the color to come off. So I'm gonna dip my brush in the water. Let me dry the brush off because you don't want your brush to be dripping with water. You just want it to be damp. Okay, because we're just knocking down the raised paint and the lines, okay? And you want to clean in between the strokes only because you want the colors to bleed to where they look nice, but you don't want the colors to go all into each other where you don't see the demarcation or the separation of color. Does that make sense? Like you don't want it to get all muddied and muddled. So especially this one is still wet, so I'm just gonna go really lightly over it because I don't want to wash off or wipe off any of the color. I just wanna knock the line down. So perfect. So we're gonna do one more. And then we're gonna let that one dry, and then we're gonna do the other one. Okay, so same thing, we're just gonna dampen the brush a little bit. We're gonna start at the purple end. We're just gonna blend in the gradation of color. Gonna rinse the brush off. Knock the line down. Knock that line down. And then we're gonna go really light on the orange and the yellow color because it's still, again, it's still wet. Okay, so now we just take that little end off over there. So we're gonna let it dry just a little bit longer. And look, this was something that my 14-year-old had. She let me hold. So let me bring them back in frame. This is just my older phone, the other phone that the microphone stopped working on. Look, she has a little fan. So if you're impatient, you could always speed up the drying process with a little phone fan or a blow dryer. But anyway, we'll be right back, okay? I was getting ready to put my hand across the screen. Be right back. Okay, so here we are getting ready to add the palm trees. And this is supposed to be like the waterline of the ocean or like a reflection. So I had thought about doing it in a navy blue color. But I was like, no, we're just going to stick with black because I'm really not sure how navy blue would look. Plus, then I'd have to do from navy blue up into the palm trees. But I really was thinking about doing a navy blue waterline with a white reflection and a palm tree, but we're going to stick with the basics, okay? So let's get ready to do our palm tree. What I'm going to use is just some black paint. This happens to be, who is this by? Anita's All-Purpose Black Paint. This is one of my favorite brands too. It gives you really great coverage. So let's put some black on our palette. And the colors have had a sufficient amount of time to dry. And even though it still may be just a little bit damp underneath the orange section up top, the palm trees aren't going that high. So we're not going to worry about it. And if it does, it's only going up to the section right across the green line. So what we're going to do first is we're going to paint our black line across the base of the palm tree, across the base of the ombre section. So notice that it starts a little below the purple, so it leaves some of that purple highlight right there. So we're going to attempt to do that as well. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is your sunset and it's however you want it to be. But I do my best to match up the earrings because, you know, someone is going to be wearing these. And so you want them to have an even pair. So we're just going to start over to the far left and we're going to bring the line across. Start over to the far left and just bring the line across. And so all we're doing is just making a black line. It doesn't even matter if it's straight because it's just a scene, right? So your palm trees and everything else, it doesn't have to be the perfect line that we did when I shared the tape tutorial. But look at the coverage of the black paint that you get with Anita. So that's one thing I was sharing with you about this particular paint. I mean, I was able to get really good coverage with that. So I'm just go over it one more time. So now we're going to go and we're going to do the other one to match. And so what I do is I put them side by side. And then when I put them side by side, and try not to, I will knock the camera over. I told you I have this thing rigged up. So we're just going to do the other line straight across. I'm going to reload the brush just that one time. Go across. Doesn't have to be straight because remember, this is supposed to be a reflection of the waterline. And so the waterline of an ocean is not straight. So I made it a little bit more black than I wanted it to be in terms of I took the black a little bit further down into the purple than I did on the other pair. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to paint the sides at the end. So what we're going to do now, and let me show you the brushes that I used. I just remembered that I didn't do that. So let me show you the brushes I'm using. So for the palm trees, you're going to need like your really fine brushes. So your lightest little brushes. I'll see if I can still read the measurements on this one. This is a 5/0 brush. It's not coming into focus, but it's a really, really, really thin brush. This one is a 10/0. And this one is a 10.0. So I got these from AC Moore when they were still open, but they are the really fine, skinny little brushes that you use to do fine detail work. And then to do the black paint, I just used a regular fluffy brush that I had. And let me see what size it is in case one of you ask. It's a shader. So I just use a shader brush to do that black line. So now I'm gonna clean off my other brush. We don't need all three of these. I just brought them, so like that long one, I'm not gonna use this one because notice that it's longer than the other two. The hairs are longer, so I'm not going to use that one to do the palm tree because this is really fine detailing and you need a brush that has a pointed end to it. So I'm gonna wet this one. I'm gonna use the one that is 5.0. I did wet it just a little bit just so it could have a point on the end of it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip it in the black paint. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna work with only one of these so you can watch it on camera. I'm gonna do my best to turn to the side so you can see it. So notice that on these palm trees that the trunk is curved. So you can do 2 palm trees or you can do 3. I'm gonna do, we'll see how many I'm gonna do, but let's do our curved trunk first. So what I'm gonna do is pretend to do, I'm gonna wipe off some of this paint. Because remember we want the paint to really be on the point. So I'm going to pretend to do a backward C, okay? So just think about the fact when you're making the trunk for the palm tree, you're just doing a backward C. It doesn't have to be perfect because it is a palm tree, okay? So notice that all I did was a portion of a backward C. And then we're gonna go to this side and we're gonna do another one. I'm gonna see if I can face it towards you and do it that way towards you, because we can always fix it up. And so on this one, we're gonna do a C as well, going in the opposite direction. See? So all we did was 2 C's. And then I'm trying to decide if we're gonna do one more in the middle. Let's do one more in the middle. So we're gonna do another C in the same direction. And I'm gonna go up a little higher so that they're not all the same length. But again, I got a really great coverage with this black paint. You could even do a cactus scene. So if you want to turn those into cacti, you could do it in green. Look how beautiful that would be like as a desert sunset, but we're gonna stick with our tropical sunset. So now what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna try to work towards you, is we're gonna create an umbrella, and that's how we're gonna create the fern or the leaf of the palm tree. So we're gonna do just an umbrella. Make sense? I'm gonna turn it towards you again and do another one. And this is the first leaf that will fall down. I'm going to show you how we get the little frilly edges as well. Okay, so watch. We're just going to make a little umbrella. Basically, we're doing a sad face. Okay, just doing a sad face. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to put the frilly edges on there. I'm going to hold it up and see if I can do one for you as well. Right? It's just a sad face. So by putting the sad face on there, it's already starting to take the shape of the palm tree. So now what we're going to do is, have you ever made seagulls? Remember when you're in high school and you'd be doodling and you'd be making seagulls? All we're going to do is another U and another U. And we want the palm trees to overlap because they're next to each other, and that's how we want them to look. So we're going to do a V. 1, 2, right? So we're just making a V. See how it's already starting to take shape? My husband is sitting across from me. He's an artist well in his own right. He's probably like, why are you over there sounding like Bob Ross? Okay, so again, we're going to do a V. Watch. So the palm trees don't they already look beautiful? And we haven't even started to put the little frilly stuff on them yet. So let me lay it down so I can show you how you're going to go about, and we're going to use the same brush, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take light strokes, and I'm going to see how best to, and we're just going to do feathery strokes like this. I'm going to show you on the paper first. And we're just doing lines, right? You're just making lines on the paper. So as you're going along, just think about the fact that you're just making dashes, okay? And you're going dashes to, like, so if I had this facing me, I'd be doing the dashes towards me, okay? But since I'm working towards you, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do one. So dash, 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 dash. We're just dragging the paint down. It doesn't even have to be perfect, okay? Because it's going to look like palm leaves anyway. We're just doing dashes. There's your first palm leaf already done. And all we did was dot dashes, right? You could even probably use a little polka dot tool, but that's not the way the tutorial taught me how to do it. So I'm going to teach you the way that I just learned how to do it. So again, let's go and do this side. And we're just going to do dashes. And the reason why you want to use the little pointed brush is because it has the tip on the end. And it's going to give you the palm tree effect. So notice how now I'm going up towards me just so I can get dashes. You're going to keep reloading your brush because you want to keep that point on the end of your brush. And you can go towards yourself or away from yourself as it relates to the brush. And then that one is going to overlap, right? Because this particular palm tree overlapped. And you can go as high up with the dashes as you want. Look how pretty that is. So we're going to keep going. We're going to load our brush with more black paint. And I'm going to do the one down here at the bottom. And we're just making dashes. And I'm using a really light brush stroke. But the point of this particular brush is helping me do that. Okay. Up here, we're going to finish this one. So now I'm brushing up towards myself, and up there, down there, I'm brushing down below. I pointed up to do the one over here because I'm working towards you. So it's kind of hard to see it. But I know the motion of the brush, right? Because I'm just making lines, upward strokes like a feather. And I'm just using really light strokes, making lines with the brush. It's just dashes to make it look like leaves. I love palm trees, and so these are called dancing palm trees because they have that curve and that bend. Look at that. Is that not incredible? What do you think, honey? Mm-hmm. He said, mm-hmm. But of course, would he say it looked horrible? I mean, maybe he would. He wouldn't say that. He's so sweet. Okay. Oh, honey, they know I call you Pastor Lamb Chop. Yeah. He said, oh, okay. So look how gorgeous that looks. So I want to look and turn it towards me, see if I want to add anything to it. And so you can keep messing with it, but we're going to do the other one just so it matches up. And then we're going to end the video there because we're going to let them dry. And then I promised you I would come back and show you what they look like after they have holes in them and after they've been glossed. So let's do it again. So you tell me, and I know you're talking on the other side, you're going to do what? You're going to make a backward C. And you're going to take your paint all the way down and make a backward C. Okay? And now you're going to go on the other side and you're going to make another C. Reload your brush if you need to. Okay? And then we're going to go turn it to the side and we're going to make our palm tree that's in the middle. And we're going to go up a little higher, right? So remember, we made that palm tree in the middle go up a little higher than the other one. So we're doing our backward C. And now what are we going to do? So now we're going to make umbrellas, right? We're going to make sad faces. So you're going to do down. Oh, I'm sorry, it came out the screen. You're going to go down. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it as well. Remember, you're making a U or a sad face, okay? You're making a U or a sad face. I prefer to say it's a U because I don't like sad faces. And it doesn't matter if they overlap. Okay? And then you can touch it up a little bit more if you want to, but remember we're going to add the ferns and everything now. So I'm going to clean the brush off just because we've been working with that one for a minute. And I don't want it to be all goopy. Okay? So now we're going to, I want to clean that one up a little bit. Well, no, let's just leave it alone. So we're going to reload the paintbrush. And I rolled the brush to the side a little bit. And now what are we going to do? We're going to make a V. Because these are the other palm branches, right? The other palm leaves. We're going to make a V. We're going to make a V. And now what are we going to start doing? We can make those longer if we want to and give them more of a point. And now we're just going to start doing what? Making dashes, because the dashes that we put together, that's going to make the leaves. And so I'm going to work downward. You can work downward or upward. It's totally up to you, but I'm working downward because I'm showing you how to do it. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. So we're just doing dashes. I mean, these are just so simple. These are some earrings you could make as gifts. These are earrings you could make to sell over the summer. This is a project you could do with your children if they're artistically inclined, you know, and they want to. But we're just making dashes. I mean, super simple. How cool is these, selling these at the beach, right? Because they have beach craft shows every now and again. I haven't done any jewelry vendor shows in a long time because I just haven't had time, but I have so much jewelry. At some point I'm going to have to do that, right? And I know we had talked about selling on Etsy and Big Cartel, and many of you had told me that you preferred Etsy. I already have a website. It's garlindaprice.com, and I sell my ministry books there. I also have a cosmetics line that I sell over there. So I thought about just adding it there, but I just feel like with Etsy I'd have access to traffic that's already there without having to work as hard to build up that traffic to the site. But we'll see. I appreciate you for sharing your feedback and your opinion with me. So look, so we're just continuing to do the dash, and now we have palm trees. Oh my gosh, what do you think? So I think I'm going to add a little bit of height just to that one right there so it matches the other one. Tell me what you think. Are you in love or what? Now what we could do, if we wanted to, is we could do a little bit more shading over in the black and do some white to make it look like a reflection, or we could take the yellow that's at the top for the sunset and put the reflections in the water. So you really could artsy it out, you know, if you wanted to. And so I'm going to lay it down and just take a look at it from it facing me and just match them up a little bit more on top. I just want to do a few more zhuzhis, but I don't want to go too high up because I don't want to cover up the sun, right? Because that would defeat the purpose of having a sunset. But I mean, literally, how cool are these? I want to know if you made some or if you're going to make them. I'm going to put my brush down, right? I'm going to clean the brush off because, you know, you never want to lay your brush flat in water to mess your little bristles up. So let me clean that off. And here we go. How cool are they? I want to know if you try them. Let me know if you end up giving them a try. Let me know also what you thought about the tutorial. Only the good stuff. I don't want to know the bad stuff. And then this is the pair that we originally made. I actually think the second pair came out better. I don't know. I love the pink that I put in at the bottom. And so if you happen to make one, I want you to upload a photo and share it. Or text it to me at 910-494-7798. So that's going to end our video. God bless you. I pray you enjoyed the tutorial. And on our next video, I haven't decided what we're going to be creating yet. I'm thinking that it's going to be this celestial design because I want to show you how you can take earrings that maybe were mistakes and how you can repurpose them to make an entire another pair of earrings. So I will see you on the next video. God bless you. And I share videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Again, I'm Garlinda Price, and I'll talk to you all soon.